Have you ever felt like your circumstances are holding you back? That where you come from decides where you'll end up? Welcome to Against the Odds, a new series on the Unscripted show. Here we uncover the world's most inspiring true stories. Stories of people who started with nothing, facing poverty, failure, and impossible odds, and fought their way to the very top. These stories are proof that your potential is limitless. And we're starting with a man you've probably never heard of, but whose creation you use every single day. This is the story of how a poor immigrant who once cleaned floors to survive built an app that connects billions of people and sold it for $19 billion. This is the story of Koum, the founder of WhatsApp. His story begins not in Silicon Valley, but in a small gray village outside Kyiv, Ukraine, during the 1980s. Jan was born into a Jewish family in a house with no hot water and, ironically, no phone. Life under the Soviet regime was harsh and repressive. It was a world of surveillance, where you couldn't speak freely, even in your own home. His parents learned to never talk on the phone, assuming it was tapped. This fear and lack of private communication would deeply influence his future creation. To escape the political instability and anti-Semitic environment, 16-year-old Jan and his mother made a life-changing decision. They packed their bags and immigrated to Mountain View, California, hoping for a better life. His father planned to join them later, but tragically, he fell ill and passed away. Their new life was anything but the American dream they had imagined. They secured a small two-bedroom apartment through a government assistance program. They were so poor, they had to live on food stamps. To make ends meet, his mother worked as a babysitter, while Jan took a job cleaning a local grocery store. Imagine being a teenager in a new country. You're grieving the separation from your father, you don't speak the language, and you feel like a complete outsider. It would have been easy for him to become just another statistic. But Jan had a hidden talent and a burning curiosity. He was fascinated by computers. He was a troublemaker in high school, but he was also brilliant. He taught himself computer networking by buying used books from a local store and returning them when he was done reading to get his money back. He joined a hacker group called W00W00, where he honed his skills, all from his bedroom. He enrolled at San Jose State University, and to help pay for it, he took a part-time job at the professional services firm, Ernst & Young, as a security tester. In 1997, his life took another turn. He was sent on an assignment to an up-and-coming company called Yahoo. There, he met employee number 44, an engineer named Brian Acton. Brian was different. He was direct, no nonsense, and shared Jan's passion for clean, efficient code. They instantly connected. 6 months later, Brian helped Jan get a job at Yahoo as an infrastructure engineer. Jan was still in college, but after a major server breakdown at Yahoo, his manager told him, "I need you here." Jan dropped out of college. He would spend the next 9 years at Yahoo, working alongside Brian. They became close friends, bonding over their shared dislike for advertising and corporate fluff. But by 2007, both men were feeling burnt out and uninspired by the corporate world. They decided to quit their jobs and travel the world for a year. During their travels, they applied for jobs at Facebook. Both were rejected. Little did they know, this rejection was a blessing in disguise. In January 2009, Jan bought his first iPhone. He was immediately captivated by the potential of the brand new App Store, which was only a few months old. He had a simple idea. He was annoyed by how often he missed calls while at the gym. What if your address book could show a status next to each name? A status that would tell your friends if you were busy, on a call, or if your battery was low. It wasn't a messaging app yet. It was just a way to share your status. He discussed the idea with his friend Brian. The name came instantly, WhatsApp. It sounded like "what's up." On his birthday, February 24th, 2009, he officially incorporated WhatsApp Inc. in California. But the journey was brutal. The early version of the app was terrible. It was full of bugs, it drained the phone's battery, and it crashed constantly. Only a handful of their friends downloaded it. Nobody was using it. Jan was devastated. He told Brian, "I'm a failure. I should just give up and look for a job." This is the moment that separates the successful from the dreamers. Brian's response changed history. He said, "You'd be an idiot to quit now. Give it a few more months." He didn't just offer words. Brian, who had his own savings, decided to invest and officially joined Jan as a co-founder. Then, in June 2009, Apple launched push notifications. This was the game changer. Jan realized he could pivot WhatsApp. Instead of just a status app, every time a user changed their status, it would ping everyone in their network. It had accidentally become an instant messaging tool. He released WhatsApp 2.0 with messaging functionality, and suddenly, everything changed. Their user base exploded. 250,000 people signed up almost overnight. They were still working out of a corner in a shared office, but their app was becoming a global phenomenon. People loved it because it was simple, reliable, and most importantly, it had no ads. Jan and Brian hated ads, remembering their time at Yahoo. Their motto was no ads, no games, no gimmicks. By 2014, WhatsApp had over 400 million active users. It was bigger than Twitter. And it had caught the attention of the one person who had rejected them years ago, Mark Zuckerberg. Facebook, the same company that wouldn't hire them, came knocking. Zuckerberg made them an offer they couldn't refuse. The final deal was signed in a deeply symbolic place. Jan and Brian drove to the old, abandoned building that used to be the welfare office where Jan once stood in line to collect food stamps. He signed the papers for the $19 billion deal on the door of the building that had once supported his family. The boy who grew up with no phone had just connected billions of people. The immigrant who lived on food stamps was now a multi-billionaire. Jan Koum's story is a powerful reminder. It doesn't matter where you start. It doesn't matter how many times you fail or get rejected. Your greatest idea can come from your biggest frustration. And your circumstances do not define your destiny. Now, I want to hear from you. What part of Jan's story inspired you the most? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if this story lit a fire in you, don't forget to share this video with someone who needs to see it. And subscribe to the Unscripted show for more stories that prove the impossible is possible.